Hello again. I'm excited to welcome you all to the start of a brand new Oxygen XML webinar series. My name is Alina Belu, and I am your regular host for our online events. Today, we're kicking off the first part of a two-part series of webinars titled Oxygen XML and AI. This series is designed to help you enhance your technical writing and documentation workflows with the cutting-edge AI tools that Oxygen XML provides. Today's episode is titled Accelerating Technical Writing, and it will be presented by my colleague Sorin Carbunaru that you can see by now, senior developer at Synchrosoft. And in this following hour, he'll guide us through the Oxygen AI Positron Assistant plugin, a powerful tool that boosts productivity for technical writers when using Oxygen XML Editor. You'll also get the chance to discover the newest features presented in the latest version of Oxygen AI Positron Assistant, version 3, and you will also learn how to leverage them for a faster and more efficient workflow. So let's not waste any more time, and let me share with you some quick information regarding our online event. This webinar is being recorded. This means that in the following days, the recording will be made available on our site, oxygenxml.com, along with Sorin's presentation slides and samples. Also, the recording will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, titled, of course, Oxygen XML. And there you can also find an impressive library of video tutorials and our other event recordings, such as this one. Another important aspect of today's event is that as we go along, we always encourage you to ask us questions by using the questions panel provided by the GoToWebinar interface, where our colleague Alex Gitian will assist us behind the scenes by answering to all of your questions in real time. And of course, we will be addressing those questions again at the end in a Q&A session for the benefit of everyone joining us today. Well, that's it for my introduction, Sorin, and now let's start the presentation. So Sorin Carbunaru has the floor right now.
Hello, Alin, and thank you for your introduction. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this presentation. Thanks to Alin already taking care of everything prefatory. I think we can directly jump into the slides. And let's start with the agenda for today. I want to start by saying a few words about the necessity of having an assistant that can help you get your work done faster and how that can make you feel more relaxed. Then I want to make a connection with the new features in the latest version of Positron 3.0. I will demo most of them, and then I will also share with you some future directions where we are heading to. And towards the end of today's webinar, we have our customary Q&A time. So I would dare to say that at some point in our lives, probably all of us without exception have had to deal with some kind and some form, some level of stress. And sometimes that comes from tight deadlines, while sometimes, even if we don't have such tight deadlines, the progress is way, way slower than expected. And now the question is, if you are stuck in this kind of situation and you are already giving your best, you are already going at your fastest speed, you're giving your 100%, maybe 120%, what can you do from there? And the answer may be find someone, or in our case today, something that can share your burden, that can help you bear your burdens. And perhaps our AI Positron Assistant can be the helper you are looking for, which is able to perform tasks faster than you, sometimes way, way faster than you and then me. And it can also perform tasks alongside you. And by that, I want to emphasize the fact that you can work in parallel. You can ask it to do something, and while you wait for the answer, you can do something else in those in that time. And when you can work faster and get the work done faster with the help of such an assistant, I think you can feel more relaxed. If you're the one having to work harder, then good luck with trying to feel more relaxed. But if you have an assistant that can help you, and especially if it's an AI assistant, because we don't want to throw our stress into somebody else's care, then yeah, you can start feeling more relaxed. But there's some sort of a catch, as it usually happens in life, because in general, we don't only care about speed, don't we? We also care about quality. And ideally, we want maximum speed and maximum quality, but because we don't live in an ideal world, we need to find a balance. And when we talk about technical documentation, real speed is not just about producing or writing more content in less time. It is not about how many characters or words per minute you can generate or write. We also care about the content in terms of being accurate and being meaningful and fitting into the context. The context can be a section in a document or the document itself, a chapter or the project. And if we even if we produce large quantities of content and we do it quickly, if it's not accurate, if it's meaningless, or if it's context independent, then this does not alleviate frustration in any way, but on the contrary, it actually exacerbates it. So that's why in the latest version of Positron, we focused on trying to generate a more accurate and more meaningful and more context related or project related content. In other words, we focused on augmenting the content generation, and we do that by incorporating additional data from external sources, external to the LLM, from both the immediate context, and by that I mean the current editor, and also from the broader context, the current project. And this brings me to the newest release of Positron and the new features and improvements from this version. What we have just seen in the previous seconds was related to probably the most important feature in this version, that is called retrieval augmented generation. This is not something specific to us. This is, let's say, a framework that we have also implemented. And this framework, this functionality is very important because you may know the fact that LLMs can sometimes hallucinate, and they also have a knowledge cutoff date. And if you ask an LLM about events after that date, it will either say that it doesn't know the answer, or it will hallucinate and come up with an answer with a wrong answer. But if instead you also come with an external source of information where you can find info about those events after the knowledge cutoff date of the LLM, then the LLM should be able to use that information and answer in a correct manner. And we achieved retrieval augmented generation by using function calls, and we have several functions that we have created, and we are also working on more functions. We added 4 new AI actions. All of them are available in the new Positron Assistant widget. There's also another more special action in that you have to provide some instructions to it. It's called rewrite content, and it's also available in this widget. We will see all these actions in the demo. We added the possibility to regenerate the response given by the AI by either using the same model or by also having the possibility to choose another model, maybe a better one. Speaking of models, GPT-4o Mini is now also available in Positron. If you use our software as a service distribution with a monthly subscription, or if you use the enterprise distribution with an open AI connection. We also improved the credit usage efficiency. That means you can do more with your credits. You can process more content with your credits using an AI service, using OpenAI actually. And finally, we also ported more features from the standalone version of Positron. Actually, the Positron add-on for the standalone version of Oxygen. We ported more features from there to the web author and content fusion. And now I want to focus for just a few minutes on the highlighted bullets, because I'm not going to go into depth for some of them. So when it comes to function calls, we offer the following functions, and I grouped them. The first 2 bullets are related to functions that are able to retrieve content from the project. Then the next 2 bullets are related to functions that can retrieve the entire content of the current document. And you have 2 functions. One of them gives you only the plain text, the entire plain text from the document. The other one also gives you the markup. And the last bullet contains the function that is able to retrieve content from around the caret. And we will see how these work in the demo. These are the 4 new AI actions that are available in the latest version: proofread, resolve comments, improve structure, and add structured content. I won't waste any time here because we will see all of them, but I will spend maybe a minute or two here, because I'm not going to demo anything from the web applications, but I want to mention what features we ported to web author and content fusion. We brought some features from older versions of Positron. Now, in the web author and content fusion, you are able to edit the user messages sent to the AI service. You can select content in the editor and use it as a context for a new chat that you have with the AI service. And we also brought the generate image alternate text AI action that was added actually in the previous version of Positron 2.1. And also we have some new features. They are new both to the standalone and the web apps. And these are the possibility to use function calling. And we also brought 3 out of the 4 new AI actions. Okay, so now it's time for me to switch to Oxygen. And because, as I mentioned, RAG, retrieval augmented generation, is the main improvement in this feature. I will start with it. You can use RAG both in actions and in the chat. And when it comes to actions, you can use it with some of our predefined actions or with actions that you can also create, custom actions created by you. So let's start with a predefined action, and we will see another one a little bit later. In the previous, I think it was the previous webinar, I showed you the generate documentation draft action, and now it has been enhanced with RAG. And for this action, I need a configuration file. For those of you who watched my previous webinar, you may remember the fact that in that webinar, I needed to provide more data in the configuration file than you see right now. But if you do that, if you provide enough information, all the instructions, all the images, and a larger draft summary, then the AI will consider that that info is enough, and it won't, if I can say this about an AI service, it won't feel the need to look into other resources from an external source of information. But today, as you can see, I have a very small configuration file with a small draft summary. Here, I only say that in Oxygen, we added an imaginary action called autocorrect in files, which works similar to check spelling in files with a small difference. But this is very important. I have written this because I expect the AI to start looking for resources that deal with check spelling in files and start using those resources for generating a documentation draft for the new autocorrect in files action. First, let's generate a documentation draft without using RAG. It will take only a few seconds just to have something that we compare to. Okay, so now we have this. We have this topic here, and there's not a lot of information here. Actually, some of the information is wrong. Spell checking files is not available in the tools menu, as far as I know. So if autocorrecting files is similar and is found in similar places as spell checking files, you won't find it here in tools. Okay, so this is the negative example, let's say. Now let's go back to the configuration file and select this checkbox from here. Use related content from project. And now the action should use the RAG functionality. And you can see it started calling functions. And here we can click on this button to see the function calls. First, it actually called some other functions with some keywords, and it found some topics, and now we get the content for the topics or the documents that seemed the most promising. And here I expect to have, yes, and we do have this spell check multiple files document. And let's see what happened here. Let's create this file. And the newly generated draft looks way better. Actually, if we open the spell checking files topic, we can make a sort of side-by-side comparison. So both of them start with this keyword section. Then we have the locations where the actions are available. And then we document all the scopes and all the options. So we can see that indeed the AI learned from this spell checking files document, and it tried to apply what it learned from there. And I'm quite satisfied. I'm actually satisfied with the result. It looks way better than the previous one. Now, moving on, what I don't see here is something about XML. Because if I remember correctly, now I'm I'm playing a role, but if I remember correctly, the autocorrect feature was also able to generate XML structure, but let's say I'm not really sure about that, and I want to make sure. And now I can show you how the chat, a conversation with the AI can be used with RAG, and we can ask the AI something like this. I had this prompt saved. Is the autocorrect feature in Oxygen able to insert XML fragments? Because I don't want to start looking in the entire user guide and then read the entire topic and so on. And I want the AI to do this job for me. Now, in its first answer, it looked in the immediate context in the current editor. Sometimes it does that. Other times it directly jumped into looking in the project, but not this time. And it says that the provided text does not address this issue. And then it asks me if I like this AI service to look into additional resources from my project. And let's say yes. Sometimes it looked automatically. So it first told me, oh, I couldn't find anything in the current editor. I will also look in the project. But this time it required my input. And here we can see that it started looking in the project. And it says, yes, the autocorrect feature can be configured to insert XML fragments. And if we want to, we can look here. Yes, see text to markup. So this is the content from our user guide from where it has drawn this information. Okay, and I also mentioned the fact that you can use RAG with a custom action, and I have such a custom action defined here in the project. So let me open that file from here, add similar markup. Okay. And if you also want to create such an action, you can use the file new action and type positron here in the filter, and you can use this template AI positron custom action. And here the most important things are the context and the parameters. In the context, I say something like this: add data XML markup to the selected content in a manner similar to its surrounding context. And now, by providing the action with a reference to a function that is able to look in the surrounding context, this get content around caret function, I give the AI the possibility to call this function, and we give to the AI this context. We implemented this function. Now let me open this topic from here, where we can see that in the second column we usually have a definition list. This is what DL means here, and here as well. So everywhere we have definition lists. Here we have markup as well, but in this second row we don't have that. Let's say the person who wrote this first wanted to write the information and then take care of the markup. They didn't want to be bothered with the markup for the moment. But now what we can do is to select this row that doesn't have the markup and use our custom action, which will recreate this row. And we can see that it also looked in the context, and it did what we expected it to do. You can see here that it also used a definition list, and here we have a node. So everything looks quite well. Let's insert this, and it looks very good, and it's valid, and the markup is very, I mean, it's identical to the other cells. I can say it did a really great job. So now that we have seen RAG, both in actions and in the chat, we can move forward and talk about the new Positron widget, which can be seen here in the top right corner. This widget is meant to provide you a way to reach the most useful actions in a faster way. And you may think, how on earth is going to the top right corner faster than going to the left side panel? That's a very good question. And the answer is this is here just for users to notice that this functionality is available. But if normally, if you want to use it in the context, in the place you are editing, you would use the shortcut. And the shortcut is Control Alt Enter, and this presents the pop-up of the widget in the context you are in that moment. And this pop-up menu contains some of the actions that we thought are most useful. And you can also add custom actions. You can see this add similar markup action here. So let's start exploring the actions from here, and we will first use the rewrite content action. And you can notice in the first column this time that we only have plain text in each cell. But these look like some sort of properties. So we may think that it may be a better idea to actually wrap the text in code PH, the code PH element in data code phrase. And we can do that. Let's select the body of the table, and the rewrite content action also has a shortcut. It's Control Alt R, and it presents this widget at the end of the selection. And here we can say something like, in the first column, wrap the contents of each cell in code PH. Answer without explanations. That's because sometimes the AI service can be too chatty and add extra explanations that we don't really care for. We only need the structure. Okay, and now we can send this request to the AI. So again, this is a way of staying in the context you were in the author page, instead of going to other places in Oxygen, to the side view or other toolbars and so on. And now we can see that indeed we have our code phrases here. By the way, all the actions that were added in this pop-up of the widget automatically insert the result. And if you ask yourselves, then how can you see the exact changes that were performed? One answer could be, you can do that, see the changes if you're using a version control system, which probably many of us use. For example, we use Git, and here I already have installed the Git staging, the Git client add-on. And here in the Git staging side view, I can go here and say open compare editor. And now I can compare the initial version with the version where all the changes from the AI were added. So this is one way of dealing with the changes. And of course, if the AI does some changes that you don't really agree with, you can further edit the result here in the editor, or maybe undo the changes quickly and maybe try again. We also have other actions, new actions in this latest version, and one of them is called proofread. This action looks for logical inconsistencies and grammar mistakes and so on. And wherever it finds this kind of problems, it adds comments. And this may be helpful if you want to come back to the problems a little bit later, not in this moment. So, and here in these two paragraphs, I have edited this content to add some little mistakes. So here it says that in a simplified form, tech docs is often done into stages, analysis and implementation. And then we say in the analysis stage, this and that, and then in the last stage. Well, if we named the stage here, why wouldn't we do the same thing here? And in the second paragraph, someone was overzealous, that would be me, and said something like this: the Positron Assistant add-on provides many various ways. So many and various kind of mean the same thing. It's actually, I think, some sort of a pleonasm. And I expect the AI to find these problems and add comments here. So let me use the shortcut again to show the menu. And this is the action I'm looking for, proofread. And yeah, it started added comments. And here are the comments: inconsistent terminology. Yeah, it tells me that we use the name, the analysis stage, and we should probably do the same thing here again. And then redundant wording, because these words mean the same thing. Now, we also have another new action that can work on content that has comments. It doesn't matter if the comments were AI generated or written by humans. If they are clear enough and if they are written in a way that looks like an instruction, then this action should be able to deal with them. So we can select the content that has comments and use this resolve comments action. And this should fix the problems and also remove the comments for the sake of doing things faster. So here we have implementation stage, and here we only say it provides various ways. Another action that was added in this version is called improve structure. And I will open another sample that I have prepared for the webinar. So here in this first paragraph, I am listing some types of specific connections that can be made from the Positron Enterprise distribution. So here I have a column OpenAI, Microsoft Azure OpenAI, and Claude separated by commas. So now if I select this content and use the improve structure action, I expect it to change something here. Oh, yeah, this is the live demo effect hitting again. Let's try this again. So improve structure. What it usually does is either add UI controls, which it did now, or create lists. So now it added UI controls, which is a good thing. But I like this. But I think that if we run this again, actually let's run it from here. Improve structure. I expect it to also create a list. Yeah, so it did that. This time it separated these connections. It added them in a list, each of them in a new list item. So you can use this action to either split paragraphs into smaller paragraphs, or create lists, or add some inline markup such as UI control. And now we're coming back to RAG for a short time, because I want to show you an action that uses RAG, and I have another sample prepared here. The action is called add structured content, and this action starts from the selection, and it also uses, as I mentioned, RAG. It uses information from other documents in the project to continue the selected content. In my case, this very short stub of a topic. So let's say that in Oxygen we wanted to add another perspective. The perspectives are these ones from here. So we have some debugger perspectives for some technologies, and we want to add another one for another technology. It's called JSONic. And here, after explaining in very short what this perspective is about and what JSONic is about, again, I added some content that I expect to, let's say, trigger the AI to search for more content. And I say that this debugger is very similar to other debugger perspectives that we already have available in Oxygen. And now if we select this content and use the shortcut for the pop-up, we can use this add structured content action here. And we can see that it called the function for related content from project a few times. And one of those times was with this keyword, XSLT debugger, and it found a topic from where it should extract information, a topic that the AI should use when continuing the current topic. And it did a good job. Let's also SSLT debugger. Let's also open this topic to make a comparison between the two. So here we have this layout of the perspective. We have the components listed here: menus, toolbars, XML source pane. And here, if we go in our draft, we have again menus, toolbars, but this time we have a JSON source pane. And it should have probably added something to correspond to the XSL source pane, something like JSONic source pane. But yeah, we have to keep in mind that the AI will only generate a draft for us. We always have to check the result and see if everything is correct. So the power is ultimately in our hands. Yeah, so these were the actions that I wanted to show from the widget. And I have another action that I want to show you. This was not added in 3.0, but actually in 2.1. But this is another action because we talk about accelerating technical documentation, about doing things faster. I think this is one of those actions that can help us become more productive, more efficient, and it's called generate image alternate text. And before reading a little bit on the web, I thought that how hard could it be to to create, to write an alternate text for a human? But to my surprise, it seems sometimes it requires a little bit of effort, nothing spectacular, but still, you may spend a few minutes to get the best alternate text, especially if you deal with an image such as this one, where you have quite a lot of components here. So create new things, recent files, recent projects, upcoming events, resources, and so on. So you have to extract the essence, but also give enough details about this image. And as I mentioned, it may take a few minutes to get to the best result, but I have a better idea. Let's use the AI to give us in just a few seconds a first version of the alternate text. So now we have this first version. It says welcome dialog box in Oxygen with options for new documents, recent files, upcoming events, and resources. So this is a very good starting point. I'm not a technical writer, I'm a software developer, but in my humble opinion, perhaps we could stick to today's version. I don't know if it needs any other changes. So this is a very good answer from the AI, and it only took a few seconds. Okay, so this concludes the demonstration. Now let me go back to the slides because I want to share with you where we are heading to. First of all, we want to enhance the existing functionality, especially the newly added functionality. We are eager to receive feedback. We encourage you to send us feedback, use the new features and improvements, and get back to us with feedback, because this helps us become an even better tool. And yeah, feedback is greatly appreciated. Secondly, we want to take the assistant to the next level, and um, in the current at the current level, Positron is able to edit content inside documents. So we can add content, remove content, edit in various ways. You can edit in multiple files at one. I mean, using the AI refactoring tool. But the next level, in our opinion, would be to give it the power to edit the data project. And by that, I mean the structure of the project. And again, the AI by itself is not able to do that. But again, we will use functions, and it will call some functions, and we will do this project editing ourselves when we are called by the AI. So for example, we could have an action to split a topic that has become too large in smaller topics. And in one AI-based action, you run that action, and the AI will create several topics, remove the previous reference in the map, and add the new topics in the map, something like that. Then we have also we have started working on structured outputs. That's because we want to be able to impose specific formats to the responses given by the AI in specific contexts for specific actions. For example, maybe some actions should answer only with code, only with XML structure, data structure, whatever, while some actions should also give some explanations, the data structure, then some explanations, and then we may be able to add the actions for replacing or inserting the content only to the code block. And fourthly, we are thinking about enabling RAG with published output, with published content, which would be very helpful, for example, to CCMS users who don't have the project locally, but if they want to generate a high quality draft using AI, they will probably need some external source of information, and that would be the published content. And of course, we have our eyes open and ears open to all the changes that happen quite often in this AI field, because we want to be up there and adapt to the changes and bring all the new and helpful things into our products. Okay, so I have only a couple of slides left. Here you can find some helpful resources. You can find the project that I have used. You can find a detailed list of what is new in Positron 3.0. And if you're interested into learning a little bit more about RAG, I found a very, very interesting video, which I really enjoyed, and it was very clear and illuminating for me. I really liked how it was presented. So you can go check that out. And that being said, my entire presentation ends here, and I want to thank you all for your attention. And now it's time for us to answer your questions. So Alex, can you please help us with that? It's your turn now.
Yes, thank you very much, Sorin, for this wonderful presentation. I took a couple of notes, and maybe I'll reuse some of your examples in whenever I demo Positron in the future, because I really liked how you structured the speech, and we do have some questions. So the first one is, how many spoken languages are supported by AI Positron? And frankly, well, we do support all the languages that the large language model behind it supports. So Positron works with OpenAI models, Azure OpenAI models, or Anthropic Claude. And any language that is supported by these models are also supported by Positron. And we actually have a translation action in which it presents a lot of languages. I'm not sure how we've chosen all those languages, but frankly, yeah, that one, sorry. So I think
and this is
it's
always
probably fine.
this is also editable. So you can write whatever language. If I was the one having to answer that question, I would have started with too many to count. That would have been my initial answer, too many to count.
Okay,
That's a joke.
whatever you need, you'll find it there. So another question is, do you have a demo of identifying opportunities of reuse, repetitive information converted to key refs in a warehouse topic? And actually, this is something that we are experimenting right now. We had a kind of proof of concept developed in the current sprint. So to have the AI digest a paragraph that you are working on and afterwards search in your warehouse topics for elements that match and to suggest this reuse. So finger crossed, maybe you'll see this feature in the next Positron release. Will these actions use reuse strategies? For example, I use keys to create variables for UI elements and have warehouse articles such as steps that are used in multiple procedures. So again, also in on this in the same on the same topic. So we are working and experimenting in this regard. So we have obviously these require an interaction between the AI model and the data project, and we are doing this interaction through functions, some of which Sorin has presented, and we are implementing new functions, basically new tools for the AI to use. So if the AI wants to see your your variables, it could ask for these variables, and we will provide them. Another challenge for the AI when you have reused, for example, might be that you're giving it something to translate, but inside this paragraph, you have a variable, a conkeyref. And in some languages, it depends if this is maybe a masculine or a feminine. It depending on the gender, the way you translate is different. And we're thinking about this as well. So the AI will get a new tool to resolve a reference. So instead of a product keyword, he will get the actual keyword that it needs to translate. So can the AI assistant review a set of topics and create reusable components when it finds repeated content within them? I don't think we've experimented this yet, but it's a good idea. I'll add an issue for this, and we'll experiment and see what kind of results. But I expect it to be able to do such things. Of course, it depends on how many topics you will provide. There's that context window restriction, but it gets larger and larger. So in theory, you could give the AI quite a few topics to analyze. Will the GPT-4o mini send my content to public domain? Well, in order for the content to be processed, it has to go to the large language model, which, depending on what distribution of positron you are using, it's either, so it will go to OpenAI, for example, but in enterprises, you can configure positron to connect to your enterprise AI account, which could be an Azure OpenAI account, or maybe if you develop your own, you train your own models, maybe a Llama model, it can also interact with that model through an Ollama interface. So it's a layer that mimics the OpenAI REST API. So Positron can send and receive send requests and receive answers from basically anything that's behind that Ollama layer. How can we manage reuse if RAG encourages copy-paste? Can RAG support the use of keyrefs to ensure a single point of maintenance? Yep, so this looks like a two-step approach, a good idea. So maybe like two agents, AI agents, one that uses this RAG to extract information, and a second one which checks if there are any reusable components that could be plugged and used. So that's also an interesting idea. That's why I like these webinars a lot. The question and answers gives us a lot of feedback and directions. Can I create a function from my prompts? So for my prompts, yes. So the idea is to allow you to create your own custom functions to interact with the Oxygen workspace. I'm not sure if we are there yet or not. If all the pieces are linked together, but that is the end goal. Of course, implementing this function will require to use our SDK, which is Java based. So writing a bit of Java code, but you know who's great at writing code? The AIs. So things will be easier than they previously were. So my experience, I've created quite easily some Python scripts to work with AI with the AI help. So didn't try it with Java, but maybe I will. If we're planning to use Positron Enterprise with our internal base model, Llama, will all the new features work, or is it bound solely to use the OpenAI endpoint and their implementation of functions? So I think the last version of Llama, if I can call it like that, has support for functions, but when we started working on the function, I know that the proxy, the Ollama server, had a in progress feature for adding the function support. So I'll have to double check that, see if the Ollama function support is finished or not. But if it is, then you will be able to work with Llama as well. With these functions will work for Llama. But for now, from all the models that we support, we've tested the functions with OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, and Anthropic Cloud. The models that had them working at the time we've implemented this support. For Git or file system users, the project setup to use this on project seems clear. For CCMS users, what does it need set up to know which content in the CMS is the, sorry, I need more space. I'm on a laptop and the screen, but I'll do it, I think, to know which content in the CMS is the published content to use. Okay. Yes, so it will be a configuration. AI Positron has a preferences page, let's call it, and the web author distribution also has this configuration page. And in this configuration page, we will probably put the part needed in order for Positron to access the published outputs. So in the first stage, so to say, what's tangible is so from Oxygen you can publish to, and also from many CCMSs that use our web help responsive, so you can publish to web help responsive, and our feedback feedback product also has AI capabilities and support. So yes, so it's something that will be available at through a configuration. You'll tell Positron where to look for the published outputs. And also we are quite excited about this. And again, it's something that we've created a proof of concept for and during this current sprint. So stay tuned for the next Positron version. So where was I? Which version of Oxygen XML Author uses AI? So I think it's version 25 or later. So we try to keep the compatible version as low as possible, considering also the fact that some of our users that are in a CCMS cannot upgrade to Oxygen so quickly. So we've managed, but as always, when you develop these add-ons, you need new API that was introduced, and sometimes that API is mandatory, but as much as we can, we try to go around that. Maybe, so for example, in Oxygen 25, the preview that you get in Positron, it's let's say not that great as the preview you get in version 26. So in version 26, we worked a bit on the SDK, on the API to offer a better preview, but we have a with a backwards compatibility modes so that we can have a preview in 25 as well.
And also RAG will work better in Oxygen 27 that will be released in in 2 months. So that's another thing to mention.
Can we create custom validation for tags in Oxygen 26? I'm not sure I understand the question. Probably, it's probably related to something that Sorin showed at a particular time, but I might have been busy with answering the questions. So maybe if you give us more details about that, we'll definitely return with an answer after the webinar on your email. So what you have in mind, and see how we can fulfill that use case. Can we configure shortcut keys to redo an action done previously? So actions in Oxygen do have a shortcut, but I'm not sure what. Oh, so you're probably thinking of a positron action that was executed. So we do have a history in which we record the last 20 or 30 interactions, actions, sorry, and conversation threads. So if you want to access a previous action, you could select it from there, from the history dropdown, and reuse that, maybe reuse the AI answer or further refine it for a slightly different use case. For the latest Positron 3.0, what is the earliest version of Oxygen and Data OT that you need as a minimum requirement? So it's 25.0. And that's that. We reached the end of the question. Thank you again for attending and for giving us all these wonderful ideas. And stay tuned. Sorin or Aline, back to you.
Thank you, Alex, for aiding us with the questions session. And of course, big thanks to Sorin for another great presentation, and for kicking this webinar series with a great event. I want to mention again that this event is being recorded, and the recording will be made available in the following days on the event page from our site, oxygenxml.com, and also on our YouTube channel, Oxygen XML. Of course, everyone that registered for today's event will also receive in the following days follow-up email with the link to the event page with the recording. Now, before saying goodbye, I will take the screen sharing here. Okay. So I want to mention again that this was the first part of a two-part webinar series. And next week, we will have the enhanced documentation with AI-powered insights. And in this second part of the series, Aline Balasha will delve into AI tools that transform user interaction with technical documentation. Also, you will see how the latest version of Oxygen Feedback, version 5.0, introduces new AI tools, such as the new AI Assistant feature that can provide instant and context-aware answers for the users. So basically, if you join us next week, you will learn how to seamlessly integrate the AI tools into your web help output, and also how to optimize the content discovery and boost your users' assistance. So also, I encourage you to take a look at our events page, where you also can find the links to register for free to all of our upcoming events, as well as to find out the list of conferences and events where you can meet the Oxygen XML team in person. In closing, again, I want to thank our presenter, Sorin Carbunaru and Alex Gitianu, for being with us today. And the biggest thank you of them all is to you, our audience that joined us today. And hopefully we will see each other again next week. Until then, have a wonderful day or evening, and bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone.